Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of Pitchside with me, Harry, and my co-host Tony. This is our fortnightly recap of football in Latvia, Lithuania and Estonia. In this episode of the Baltic Football News podcast, Tony and I are going to be talking all things Baltic football, covering league action, standout players and any other stories. Tony, let's begin in Latvia. We're now 7 games into the Virsliga season and, well, since we last recorded, RFS still sit at the top of the table. However, they are no longer unbeaten as Auda have beaten the league leaders 1-0 thanks to a first-half strike from in-form young striker Josue Vergara. But RFS haven't wobbled since, and this loss is still the only game they have dropped points in this season. Second place has no surprises, as last season's champions Riga FC occupy second after dismantling FK Riteriai 8-0 away from home, scoring 6 second-half goals, but a thrilling 3-3 draw with the Joseph Oloko-inspired FK Tukums left Riga 2 points off the pace as Oloko scored a hat-trick, with the away side pulling off a surprising result. However, Auda, who lie in third, are 5 points off top place, and as I mentioned, beat the leaders RFS and have only lost 2 games themselves, one of them being to Riga. They have an impressive start to the season, with 18-year-old Vergara firing them forward, scoring 4 goals and getting himself 2 assists in his first 7 Virsliga games. Tony, do you think Auda can qualify for Europe this season, and how influential has the new man been up top?
Yeah, I mean, Vergara he seems to be quite the package, doesn't he? Only 18 from Panama. I think the scouts have done a remarkable job of signing him because his stats don't really tell such a positive picture. Not so many games, not so many goals, but looking at him on the pitch, he's obviously a very, very good player, and he's spearing out.
Yes,
and he's a very good player.
Could be playing himself into World Cup for Panama's side.
He might.
He's playing against England.
Yeah, he might do. But I mean, Auda can qualify for Europe for sure. I mean, it's kind of sort of like it's what they need every year. It's what they aim for, and as long as they keep these kind of like these players at the club, like I said on previous podcasts, once the summer transfer window opens and these players get picked up by bigger clubs, it's going to be a potential problem. It was it was for us last year. So if they can keep these players, then for sure they're gonna be serious contenders.
Yeah. At the foot of the table and 2 points from safety, Ogi United, who are still looking for their first ever Virsliga win after picking up draws against Grabina and Auda. FK Tukums occupy the relegation playoff spot and are also winless so far this year, despite drawing 4 games, including that 3-3 draw with Riga. FK Jelgava will be looking over their shoulder as they are winless in 6, and of course endured that heavy 8-0 defeat to Riga and have only scored 4 goals this season, the joint lowest in the league, and they have also conceded the most in the league with 14. Daugavpils have also dragged themselves from the bottom of the league as they have won their last 4 games, propelling themselves to 4th place, just 1 point off the European spots. Tony, are we now seeing the league take shape? Do you think it'll be these teams involved at the bottom come the end?
I think we are starting to see some kind of shape being formed in the league. We said a couple of weeks ago in the last one about Daugavpils, they were struggling, and now they go and win 4 games on the spin. I think we said this was always going to happen. Daugavpils were always going to turn a corner and start improving. There's still a long way to go. There will be some changes. I expect Liepāja to be doing a bit better. I expect Jelgava to be doing a bit better. Jelgava have this kind of like cooperation with Czech Republic owner, and I'm pretty sure that they can bring in some reinforcements if they need to in the summer. You kind of get that kind of feeling that that's going to happen. The one thing that I can't see changing, unfortunately, for Auda is Auda. They don't score enough goals. It's going to be very tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be very tough. I mean, before a ball was kicked, it was going to be very tough, and so it's proved. I think they've got 3 draws so far, no wins.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard, and I can't see anything changing for them because that is their situation, So
It is what it is, I suppose.
it is what it is.
And in the rest of the league, SK Supernova are in 5th place and are also chasing European football. And last season's relegation playoff winners, Grabina, are 7th, whilst Liepaja make up the rest of the pack and lie in 8th. Now it's time to choose our player of the round and team of the round in the Virsliga. Since we last recorded, there have been 5 games played, but the player I have gone for is Iago Siqueira. He inspired Riga FC in that 8-0 thrashing of Jelgava. The attacking midfielder got himself a hat-trick, as well as picking up the assist for Rakai Auna's goal. It was a standout performance from the Brazilian, who followed up with an impressive performance against Tukums and chipped in with another assist in a 4-1 triumph over SK Supernova, as well as bagging a brace in a 3-0 victory over Grabina. So plenty of goal contributions. Any disagreements with that choice? Is anybody else?
Mate, no, he's a very good player. You just mentioned there about this victory against Grobinho, the 3-0. He scored a very, very good goal, cut inside, just inside the penalty area, and bent it around the goalkeeper into the far post. It was like perfection. Brazilian, he has this Brazilian flair. He's already surpassed last year's goal tally, and we're only a few games into the season, basically. From watching the games and from watching his positions, it looks like he's been given a bit more of a free role this year.
Yeah,
a little bit more license to go forward and to attack, and we're definitely seeing this kind of improvement in the numbers. And yeah, he's having a very good season so far.
Yeah, I agree. Well, he's playing that like number 10 sort of free, like you said, free role.
Yeah, he was a little bit lower last year, and he was a bit more box to box, stroke attacking. It looks like he's got less defensive responsibilities now, which gives him this a little bit more freedom to be.
Yeah, he's got more license to.
Yeah, a little bit higher up the pitch, and there you go.
And my result of the round, of course, in my opinion, must go to your former side, Auda, who pulled off an incredible 1-0 result against RFS, who at the time were invincible. A first half goal and Auda's only shot on target from Josue Vergara was enough to seal the win for Auda, who defended superbly to keep the league leaders at bay. It remains RFS's only loss this season and the only time they have dropped points. Furthermore, this meant Auda kept pace with the big two at the top and showcased they can compete with the elite sides in the division.
Yeah, I mean, it's one hell of a result, right? Beating RFS at any time in the season is always going to be a top result. I think they've only lost 7 or 8 games in the last 2 years in the league. That's 70 games, 75 games. Ironically, the last time they got beat was against Auda. That was last season. That was last September.
Wow.
Yeah, that was last September, and that was us.
It's like an Achilles heel.
Yeah,
like a bogey team. Is it called bogey team?
Bogey team. Yeah. But we beat them 2-0 in the Latvian Cup semi-final last year. So it's a good result, and like you say, one shot on target is all you need to win a game of football.
Yeah.
Sometimes not even that.
No, not even that. Defensive masterclass.
Sometimes not even that.
Moving on to Lithuania now, where the Toplyga season has continued to progress, and Kauno Žalgiris still sit at the top of the table and are, quite frankly, dominating the division, even though they've now actually lost a game. They currently sit 5 points clear at the top of the table and have only lost 1 game this season, winning 7 out of 9 at time of recording. They are the league's top scorers with 24 goals and have only conceded 5. And amazingly, 2 of the 3 top scorers in the division both play for Kauno. One of their wins came in the Žalgiris derby, as Kauno were ruthless and swept aside at Vilnius Žalgiris, who left to rue their missed chances as they were beaten 3-0 at home in front of a season record crowd of 4,664. Kauno also tore apart Hegelman in the Kaunas derby, comfortably winning 5-0 at home against last year's runners-up. However, they were at the end of a shock 2-1 home defeat to newly promoted TransINVEST, where the away side led 2-0 thanks to a brace from Ukrainian midfielder Yegor Gulshak and only conceded a 94th minute penalty condemning Kauno to their first defeat of the season. I know it's early season, Tony, but do you see anybody catching Kauno, even though they have actually shown they can be beaten now?
Short answer: no. No, I'm the big Kauno Žalgiris fan. I get this like repetitive feeling that I'm always saying it on every podcast, but they are the team to beat. They play the best football. They have the best tactics. They're the most pleasing team to watch, and of course they're going to have some minor blips along the way. TransINVEST are having an absolutely storming start to the season. So look, there's going to be a few bumps in the road, but I don't think anyone's going to get near them coming out of the season. No.
It's a shame they couldn't go invincible. I won't put it past them.
They have the ability to do it, but not this year.
No, not this year. Next season.
Maybe next year, guys.
After the humiliating derby defeat and a 0-0 draw with bottom club Riteriai, FK Žalgiris has announced significant changes within the team, as head coach Rolandas Džiaugstas will no longer continue in his role. They have since appointed one of Lithuania's most prominent football specialists, Andrius Skerla, as a new head coach. The move marks a symbolic return as Skerla comes back to his hometown and is at the very first club of where he started his playing career. He did draw his first game in charge 1-1 with Bangor, and then they also suffered that what I saw last night, the 2-1 defeat in the cup, or is it the night before? Yeah,
the shocker away at Measure.
Yeah. It's not having a great season, has it?
No, and this guy's come in and 2 games and
done nothing.
Yeah, not very good. None of this instant impact, anyway.
No, new manager bounce.
No.
Also, after 8 rounds of the Toplyga season, significant changes have taken place in the Šiauliai camp, as head coach Jurgis Punčniskis has stepped down from his position, becoming the 3rd coach to depart a Toplyga side this season. Šiauliai are currently in the relegation playoff position, and they are yet to win a game, drawing 5 and losing 3. Well, we've just mentioned about the Žalgiris managerial change briefly. As obviously both teams are need of a change of fortune, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, I wasn't surprised to see Vilnius make this change.
No.
The results weren't there, but the performances weren't there either. You know, sometimes you can sort of like forgive a few results if the performances are there, but neither were there. So it cost the guy his job. And what I found quite strange is that they go for Skerla, who's the current Lithuanian under-21 head coach. He's going to keep this position until the end of the season. So he's effectively going to have 2 jobs. He's going to be head coach of Vilnius and of the national team under-21s. And in some kind of like really weird way, the guy that they just sacked is now Skerla's assistant. So I don't know what's happened there. But it's a bit of a head scratcher. But it's happened, and I could see it. Well, people could see it happening a mile off. With Šiauliai, also look, they've had some really big injury problems. Like key players are missing. I think the goalkeeper's out, but their budget is like, I think 4th or 5th biggest in the league, and they're next to the bottom, and it's just not good enough. And obviously, they've changed as well. So, yeah, I know it's like only after 7, 8, 9 games, but this is modern football, isn't it? You don't get till Christmas, you don't get till the season. Sometimes you don't even get to the end of the week these days.
No, you don't. It's true. It is. It's modern football.
Yep.
Results business.
It is.
Žalgiris Vilnius currently sits 2nd in the Toplyga and went 5 games unbeaten before coming unstuck against Sūduva, falling to a 3-2 defeat. This is their 2nd loss of the season, as they have also lost to runaway leaders Kauno. Furthermore, newly promoted TransINVEST are defying early season expectations as they sit in 3rd place, 1 point ahead of 4th place Sūduva and 2 points ahead of 5th place Žalgiris. The Toplyga so far has been tightly contested, as there are only 5 points separating Helgelman in 8th and TransINVEST in 3rd. If it continues to stay like this, we could see an incredibly competitive campaign with up to 7 sides fighting for European places. Bangor Gajdai sit in 7th and Paneveshi in 6th are both on 11 points. Tony, who do you think will get the European places this year?
Look, why not TransINVEST?
I know, yeah.
I mean, they're playing good. They're picking up good results. They're quite consistent. If they can maintain this, then I mean, you have all like the usual suspects like Šiauliai, Panevežys, like the teams who are kind of sort of like fighting for these places. They've had a poor start. They're going through changes. It might not work. It might work, but it's a big gamble. And TransINVEST, they have all the staff and most of the players from last year. They have a consistent theme, and they've shown that they can compete at this level. So I don't see why not. They can't maintain this level of performance and results. I mean, I expect Žalgiris to drop off. They always start the seasons really well. The last 3 or 4 years, first round, second round, really good, and then for the last 2 rounds, they just fall off a cliff.
Yeah,
and I think probably the same will happen this year as well. But yeah, TransINVEST. Big shout out to TransINVEST.
Big shout out to TransINVEST.
Yeah, European tour next year, guys.
That's it. That's all you want. One team we haven't spoke about, though, is FK Riteriai, who sit at the foot of the table, winless, with only 3 points from the first 9 games. They've only scored 3 goals and have conceded 20. It's obviously no secret that the club have been struggling financially, and last week they did announce that they had begun the legal procedures to initiate insolvency proceedings, describing their financial situation as critical. Riteriai faced almost an identical situation last year and were bailed out by the Lithuanian Football Federation. Do you think this could be potentially be the end of the club, which would be a shame, but it's been quite a while now that this has been going on? I
think so, mate. To be honest, it looks all roads lead to this kind of like destination, and that's a shame. Like you say, they've already been bailed out last year. That was to the tune of 50,000 by the Lithuanian Football Federation. And this year, I think they're $250,000 in debt already. And I just don't see any way back from this.
No,
I mean, this is not like someone's not going to be able to patch the hole and solve this quickly. I even saw on LinkedIn the other day people trying to find buyers for this football club. Like desperate. Really? It's just a desperate situation, and you're seeing
it is, yeah.
And you're seeing desperate measures because that's what it is. But what a bizarre situation, These foreign investors come in, they agree to a sponsorship deal, they agree to this, they agree to the instalments throughout the season to cover the wage bills and stuff like this, and then I think they come up with 30,000. Yeah,
they've not. I think I read that they've just not been funding the money that they said that they would fund at all. Like it's nowhere near what they said they were gonna.
Yeah, I think they said, okay, we can give you a couple of million, and it will be in instalments over the season. And I think this debt that they have now, this $250,000, is basically the hole that's been left.
Yeah,
the shortfall from these investors where they just haven't produced the goods, or in this scenario, they haven't produced the money,
the funds. No.
Yeah. So. Desperate situation.
Desperate times, desperate measures. Yeah. The player of the round that I've gone for from the Toplyga for this episode is going to be Leo Ribeiro from Kauno, another Brazilian who's been in fantastic form and was a key figure in the derby win over Žalgiris, getting himself a goal and an assist. He also played a part in the other derby win over Hegelman, playing one key pass and having 81% pass accuracy. However, I would also like to mention last episode's player of the round, Amin Benchaib, who scored in both derbies and is the league's leading scorer. What do you make of Leo's contributions this year so far?
Another skillful Brazilian who produces good numbers, huh? Very good player, and there's no qualms from me. He's producing the goods, and very, very, very silky.
Yes, silky
player.
And my result of the round goes to TransINVEST. I don't think there's any other one to choose.
No.
And the incredible 2-1 victory at Kauno. It was a significant result, as it was obviously Kauno's first loss. And it also propelled TransINVEST into the European places after a disappointing campaign the last time they were in the Toplyga. It's obviously a huge result for a newly promoted side, who have shown they can compete with anybody. Standout result?
Unquestionably.
Yeah.
Unquestionably. And they deserve to win that game as well, by the way.
Yeah, they did. They only took a 94th minute sort of consolation goal from Kauno.
Yeah, imagine that. Kauno consolation. Late consolation, just to make it look a little bit better than it was.
No clean sheet.
No clean sheet bonus for the keeper, unfortunately.
However, I would also like to mention the Riteriai and their goalless draw with Žalgiris Vilnius. I think amidst all the speculation around Riteriai, it's a great result against historically and even recently one of the most dominant teams in the country. And this result is what led to Rolandas Jouksas departing Žalgiris. Which result would you... obviously, it's the TransINVEST result that you go with, but...
Yeah, because...
Yeah.
Kauno was just so strong in the league and so dominant that to go there and beat them is just... Wow, it's top.
Yeah, because when I did my note, I had the 0-0 as the result, and then that happened. I thought, no, we have to change that.
Yeah, I think it was a good decision to change.
The third of our Baltic leagues is the Estonian Premium Liiga. The Premium Liiga has played 7 rounds and is incredibly tight at the top. Nõmme Kalju are now second in the division on 16 points and are no longer unbeaten also, as they have dropped their first points of the season after drawing 1-1 at home with Levadia. Levadia led for 20 minutes before a Matthias Manilan penalty gave the hosts a point. They also lost their first game to now league leaders Paide, who sit on top on goal difference, as they won 1-0 thanks to a goal from 18-year-old Romeo Nigula. Things have also started to iron out in the Premium Liiga, as Paide are now unbeaten their last 6 games, with their only loss coming on the opening day to Pärnu, which is Pärnu's only win this season so far. Levadia are third and are also unbeaten, but 3 draws from 6 games mean they have picked up 15 points from 21, leaving them 1 point behind league leaders Paide and second place Kalju. Levadia also dominated the Tallinn derby as they swept aside Flora in a resounding 4-0 win. 2 goals in each half were enough for the side in third place to brush their rivals aside in front of an ecstatic home crowd. How important was the win over Nõmme Kalju for Paide in shaping the early standings? And after the derby win, can you see Levadia pushing for the title?
So Paide, yeah, I mean it's important for the league that they took points off Kalju, because like probably people who listen to this understand that I'm a big Kalju fan, as well as the Žalgiris, Kauno Žalgiris. I see them like basically the same. You know, that they were a little bit lucky to win that game, but okay, they will push for the title. But this result certainly makes it a little bit more interesting for the league.
Yeah.
Haju
occupy 4th, while last season's champions Flora are 5th and have stumbled out the blocks and have already lost 4 games, with 3 coming back-to-back, including a 3-1 defeat to second-bottom side Tammeka and the 4-0 loss in the Tallinn derby. This number of losses is already more than half of the amount they lost last season. What do you think has gone wrong so far this season for Flora?
Yeah, well, they kind of lost. They lost 3 games in a row, back-to-back. I think it was the end of March and early April. They lost 3 games. Yeah. And that's obviously set them back a little bit. But I was looking into this because I also was thinking, what's happened here? They've lost a couple of right backs. They've lost a right back, a left back. They've lost a couple of centre midfielders, Husar, Mihalyov, and Poom. They've all gone to Slovenian teams.
Oh,
yeah, and also another centre midfielder, Sumits. He's gone to Start in Norway in the top tier.
Oh, yeah.
So you know they've lost. Both fullbacks, they've lost 3 centre midfield players, all very good players as well. So this probably has some kind of negative impact on the results this year, because these are good players to try and replace and key positions as well. So
yeah, it's like core of the team, isn't it? Really, sort of.
Basically, yeah. So this is probably part of the answer.
Yeah, it will be definitely. Promoted Nõmme United are 7th and have 7 points, but they have scored the most goals in the league with 17, averaging 2.4 a game. Of course, the 7-1 win over Pärnu and the recent 5-1 win over Narva Trans has contributed significantly to that stat. They did also lose 7-1, was it last night? I think. Last night or the night before. They lost 7-1 to Kalju, I think.
Yeah.
But we'll get onto that in the next episode.
It's Kalju, of course.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Back on track.
Kurasat sit 2 points and a place above Nõmme United as they are 6th in the table and on 9 points. Temeka, who occupy 8th, are on 7 points, whilst Narva Trans, who are 9th and in the relegation playoff spot, are on 6 points. We mentioned about Nõmme United's scoring habits, but do you think it's sustainable to keep them up?
I don't know. I think it's a tough ask because coming up is like I've said it before is a big gap, and they've had some decent results, but it's going to be difficult for them to sustain. So
yeah,
I'm jury's out on this one. Jury's out.
At the bottom of the table is Pärnu Vaprus, who have only 1 win that came on the opening day against Paide. However, they have picked up another point as they've played out a goalless draw with Temeka. They've only managed to score 6 goals all season, but despite this, there are only 5 points between them and 5th place Flora. Do you think they've got the power to get themselves out of this scrap?
You've just said it, we don't score enough goals. I just...
Yeah.
Don't score goals, you don't win games. Don't win games, you don't put points on the board. It's always going to be hard. So I don't know. They need to address the goal scoring record.
Yeah.
And then who knows? Who knows after that? But do they have the necessary funds, or do they have an unearthed gem in the youth team? I don't know. But they just need to find a way to score more goals.
My player of the round from the Premium Liiga for this episode is Levadia striker Boubacar Tambedou. The Gambian has scored 4 goals this season, 3 behind last season's total already. And in the recent round of games, he has scored a decisive goal in a 2-1 win over Pärnu, but also scored his side's goal in the 1-1 draw with Nõmme Kalju. I'm not sure if you've seen the goal, but it were a volley from like edge at box.
No, I did see
it. It was an amazing goal.
Yeah.
He also contributed to 2 of the 4 goals in the derby, opening the score in the 9th minute before assisting the second, helping his side go 2-0 up at half-time. Would you any disagreements with that one?
No, listen, this guy's a good player. He's technically decent. You saw that from his goal, from his volley. He's played for some good clubs. Tel Aviv in Israel. He's played for Sheriff in Moldova. Last season he was okay. I think he scored maybe 9 or 10 goals, something like this, in the season. He's played for decent clubs, which means that he's got decent ability. He's never been prolific. He's not scored absolute bag full of goals, but he's always contributed. And he's only 24, so maybe breakout season. I don't know, but he's obviously a good player, and a lot of people think of that. You don't play for Tel Aviv and Sheriff if you haven't got any ability. So
yeah, definitely, yeah.
So yeah.
My result of the round must go to Levadia. The draw away to Nõmme Kalju seems too significant to overlook this early in the campaign. 2 sides who were unbeaten, but Nõmme had not dropped a point and had only conceded 1 goal. Before, as we mentioned, they conceded their second thanks to Tambedou's strike. Levadia did go 1-0 up and they defended well before coming unstuck to a 70th minute penalty. But they withstood the barrage and managed to grind out a good point, succumbing Nõmme Kalju to drop points for the first time this season. How important is it for Levadia to stop that run of Kaljus and take points off the what were league leaders?
Yeah,
the way they did.
It keeps them right behind Kalju, and they're still undefeated. I think it's 5 wins, 3 draws. I think. I watched the game. I actually watched the full game. And they scored a scrappy goal from a corner, and VAR ruled it out. I don't know if you saw it, but
no, I didn't see that one.
I was trying to see why, and I don't understand the Estonian. You can hear the commentary, and they're trying to explain, and I'm just trying to see with my eyes. No idea. No idea. Like it's the. I don't know. I'm speechless. I don't know. I watched it and I don't understand. But okay, and this goal by Tambedou was really good. It was great. Caught the goalkeeper completely off guard because he's taking it sort of like on the turn. On like the volley, on like quicker than you can anticipate. And the goalkeeper's actually on his 6-yard line. And he should be 2 or 3 steps further back. He gives himself absolutely no chance with this shot. Having said this, if the goalkeeper was in position, probably doesn't save it anyway. But but it's good. It's good because it just makes it interesting. It's very tight at the top. We did say at the very first podcast that there's 3 or 4 teams that will make this quite competitive, and
definitely,
and this is how it's panning out, and this is how it will be. And you could see after the game. I don't know why, but I was listening to the player interviews after the game, and I don't know why because I don't understand what was getting said. But I could understand the body language, and Levadia were a lot happier than Kalju. Put it that way.
That's all for this episode. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Block Sport, and thank you for tuning in. And make sure to subscribe, follow, and head to BalticFootballNews.com for your latest football news from the region and beyond. You can also follow us on X, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And we'll see you next time for Pitchside, the fortnightly recap of Baltic football.